like we're just rolling right now because this is the great part about this podcast is that we just have these conversations. We decided to start rolling because this is funny and we got everybody here. I'm in Budapest, Hungary. We're talking about penises for those of you that are just joining right now and the size of penises because Bryce's question here. This is going to be the Q&A podcast. If you're just jumping on and you have no idea what's happening right now, we're mid-conversation talking about penises. Great thing this is a relationship show. Or
girth.
So we think it is.
Length.
So So anyways, I'm telling a story, dear. I'm in Budapest, Hungary, and we go to this Turkish bath, and I'm with one of my employees. This is fucking 20 years ago, 15 years ago, however long it was, 10 years ago. I don't know. This was years ago. And we're in this Turkish bath in Budapest, Hungary. And I go to the concierge and I'm like, I want to go because Budapest, Hungary is known for having more Turkish baths per capita than anywhere else in the world. And so he's like, do you want like the American type of bath or do you want the real deal Turkish bath? I'm like, I want the real deal. Anyways, long story short, we go there, we walk in. It almost looks like you're in this dingy ass hospital is what this place looks like. I'm like, the fuck are we getting ourselves into? And there's a little window. You knock on the window, the lady slides the thing open, and we're like, 2, and you pay them in huff as their money, and it's like 1,000,000 huff or whatever the fuck it is, because the exchange rate's hilarious. Anyways, this dude walks out, and he has a white, like scrubs, like a scrub shirt. You know, you see doctors with blue scrubs. He's got white scrubs on, and it's like super tight, chest hair just bulging out at the top of this thing, and he's got these white booty shorts, like bulging. The dude's bulging. I'm like, the fuck are we doing here? This is crazy. He's like, follow me. He doesn't say that because he doesn't speak any English, but this is follow me motion that's universal. So my employee and I follow him. And my employee is this British kid who's smaller than Ginger. He's little. He's a teeny fella. He's a little fella. He's pushing 5'6". You're taller than that. Anyways, we go in there and he hands us these things that they look like napkins and they have strings on them. And he's like, points to these 2 lockers. And once you walk in, then it's a little bit more presentable. It's like nice, whatever. Hands these 2 things. We walk in. We had brought board shorts and shorts because, you know, you're going to church bath. And I'm like, fuck this, when in Rome. And so it's 2 strings and it's literally like a 12-inch by 12-inch napkin. And you put it on and you just tie it around you. So ass cheeks are wide open. And you're hanging out, but you got a thing covering your dong, right? So I'm asking him in the locker next door. I'm like, "Yo, you're putting on your little napkin, right?" And he's like, I don't even remember what he said, but you could tell he was uncomfortable as fuck, right? So we come walking out, and I'm like, "Bro, we're not walking behind or in front. Like, you walk next to me. Like, one of us is getting the ass in this walk." So the guy comes back out, leads us in, and I'm just telling the story because we can, because it's a great fucking story. Leads us into one of the most exquisite buildings I've ever seen in my entire life. This place is like 600 years old. It's like, it looks like an igloo. And there's thousands and thousands of pieces of stained glass in the ceiling, which is what's letting in the light. And it was like truly, truly, truly exquisite. And in the middle is this huge natural spring-fed pool that's like hot water. Like, what do they call those? Hot springs. It's like a hot spring, natural hot spring. And there's pocket ones on the side. Some of them are hotter, whatever. So we go walking in, and we had paid for massages at this Turkish bath. So the guy grabs my guy, pulls him in first. He goes in first. I sit in one of these pools. And you ever sit in a pool with a napkin around your dong? It just like floats up. So you're kind of like, yeah, whatever. Sitting there with my arms around this thing. And we were there the day that was just men only. They do co-ed, but we were there during the men's day. So it's just all dudes. And this is like, you get your boys together and you go down to the bathhouse and they're just speaking Hungarian, talking their shit, doing their thing. And Hungarian men are big men. They're just fucking beastly men, right? Anyways, he comes out and he looks at me and he's like, prepare to be ravaged. And I'm like, the fuck is that supposed to mean? He hops in the pool. I go walk into the thing and there's this steel bed with like a sheet, and the guy motions to me, and it's like an old school mafia movie. There's 5 or 6 dudes sitting in chairs reading papers. They watch me walking in, speaking Hungarian. I know they're making fun of me for something. Go in there, I get the massage. We'll save the massage story for a different day. He just fucks you up. This was nothing pleasurable. He's squeezing the shit out of your body. Like, literally, nothing is sacred. He rubs you down with this lotion shit. It's like soap, spins you around, like on your ass, the whole thing. hoses you off. There's literally a handheld hose. He's hosing you off. Anyways, the point of the story was about penises. We haven't gotten to the penis part yet. It's bad, bro. Like I'm on,
this
but
here's the foreplay of the story.
But here's what's funny is I'm laying on this thing, and he's like, he picks my leg up, and he's like, put it. You know how you get the stretch with the thing with the trainer? Well, I got a thing covering my dong, and it just flips up, and it was that moment where I was like, fuck it, I'm all in. I'm just gonna enjoy this experience. My legs up, my dick's hanging out, the whole thing. Anyways, yeah, trust me, we were not in the. It was shrinkage. You seen George Costanza? I was in the pool. I was in the fucking pool. I was scared, really what it was. And when you get scared, your penis does things. Anyways. So I get this massage. The guy, and I know what getting ravaged is, and he just really just.
I was good in bed.
Anyways. You are, what? What does this have to do with being in bed? Anyways, we walk out. I get back in the little thing, and we sit in the hot tub. I'm like, yeah, now I know what you're talking about. We're sitting there. And no shit. You always hear about black guys having the biggest dicks, but don't know, I haven't seen very many black dicks. However, the largest penis that I've ever seen was on a Middle Eastern man. Now, this dude had swag like I've never seen. He had his little sheet, his little napkin, strung up over his shoulder, and he had a newspaper under the other shoulder. And he's walking towards me on this, like, pool deck area thing, and I shit you not, his dick was like down to his knees, and it was just da-dong, da-dong, da-dong as he's walking, and it was one of those things where you couldn't not look. You can't not look. You're like, what in Christ's name is that? I mean, he doesn't speak English, so I can't talk to the guy, but kind of the universal code of, I'm sure you make movies in whatever country you're from, buddy. But circling back, no pun intended, to the original thing, what the fuck do you do with that thing? Besides make movies. What do you do with it? It was the biggest freaking penis. This is 14, 15 inches long.
Soft.
Flaccid.
He's just strolling. He's just walking. He's just, da-dong. It's bouncing off of his legs. And I'm like, what the fuck do you do with that? How do you even put your pants on? How do you wear shorts? You can't wear shorts. You get shorts, your fucking dick's hanging out the bottom of your shorts. You're literally permanently wearing sweatpants, and people are like, what's wrong with his leg? There's like 2 legs in there.
You get lightheaded when it's full? Like, is it?
I don't know. Ask the guy at the fucking bathhouse, man.
That's a lot of blood.
That's my penis story.
So back to the original question.
Great job, guys. This is
Length or girth?
the 3rd episode of the Sean and Sax Show.
What a start.
What a fucking start. So back to the question. Today's podcast, we're doing a Q&A. Yes. Which, by the way, congrats on getting married. It's our first podcast, being married. We're married. We got married 4 days ago.
Be careful.
Four?
Math is racist.
Math is racist. We got married a couple of days ago on a Sunday. Sunday's not racist, is it? Anyways.
I don't think so anymore.
We got married on Sunday. Today's Thursday, so whatever that is. Do the math. But this is our first podcast as a married couple, which is great. And we decided to do a Q&A. So you asked your people on social media what to ask Sean. And I asked my people, what should I ask Saxony? And the questions are fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
They're really good questions.
Especially Bryce's.
So,
you really nailed it.
So the reason that this conversation happened about the big guy with the Middle Eastern penis is because Bryce, who's sitting back here, you guys can't see him, his question was length or girth. And prior to us turning the cameras on, we were having the conversation about length and girth and bottoming out and the whole thing, which we could talk about that. We could cover that question. But anyways, we're good. You can jam because
the answer is what you do with it. What you do with it, Bryce.
I'm familiar.
That's.
And
I know.
You have
had a solid marriage. You know what's up.
Yeah.
Sure,
So question number 1, length or girth, dear. We're just gonna start this thing off with the bang.
Right.
No pun intended.
You're funny. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with it. It's the whole package. You can have a big long dick.
What?
I said you could have a big long dick and not know what to do with it. You could have a big fat guy and not know how to do with it. It's what you do with it.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
hope
answer.
my mom doesn't watch this.
Sorry, John.
So, guys, thank you for all of the great feedback on the first 2 episodes. We have been super excited about it. You guys have, it's been really fun. So, to all of you who have watched the show, or either on YouTube or iTunes or Spotify or Google Play or whatever, thank you so much. And please, our only ask of this is that if you get value from it, please share it with people. Please share it on social media. Go leave us a review. Go make a funny comment. Go tell us what your thoughts are on Facebook, on social media, and all over the place. We really, really, really enjoy it. But I'm excited for this episode because we were like, what do you want me to ask her and her to ask me? And what's really cool is the questions that came up are very, very, very good questions, number one. But number two, they're great questions in the sense that it leads to phenomenal conversation around some certain things.
For
so
sure.
we went through last night. We went on date night last night. And we went through some of them. Some of them I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to get some surprise questions. And you're going to get some surprise questions.
Oh, goodness.
But anything else you want to say before we start, dear, about penises or anything else? Marriage? How was the wedding? Wedding was good?
The wedding was so fun. It was a riot.
The wedding was
We
good.
jumped in pools. We almost fell off cliffs,
We didn't almost fall off cliffs. We stood on the side of cliffs.
which is almost falling off, according to a lot of comments you received.
Oh, my God. Tell everybody where we got married. Tell them really quick about the marriage, the whole thing.
We got married at Dead Horse Point in Moab, Utah. It is God's country. It is spectacular.
On the side of a cliff.
On the side of a cliff. It was absolutely breathtaking with our kids. It couldn't have been more perfect.
We sort of eloped.
Yeah.
We didn't invite any of our friends. We didn't really invite anybody.
We wanted energetically it to be us
Yeah.
and our family.
And it was
And
cool.
then we're going to rally a party here.
We'll do a big party.
Yeah.
Wedding party, whatever we want to call it. But it was really cool.
And neither of us cried.
That was really weird.
I can't believe it.
Interesting.
Especially me.
I was expecting to cry. You know, you do the thing and she's walking down. There was no aisle. There was no chairs. There was no congregation. We were literally standing on the side of a cliff in your aisle that you walk down while my daughter is playing the ukulele. She's playing the ukulele. She's playing this most amazing UB40 song. Can't Help Falling in Love. She's singing it, and Saxony comes down, and our 2 oldest boys are like helping her down. It's literally, she's got this fucking amazing dress on, which you can barely move in. And
Like a
she's
Chinese
trying to
finger
climb
trap.
down these rocks and do it like subtly and like sensually, like I'm walking
I
to
should
the
have just
altar.
had the boys like Superman me down.
Yeah, just
Hey.
carry you, or just get like a thing.
But
and,
we didn't.
And anyways, we made it down, and we literally stood on the side of a 1,000-foot cliff.
Oh.
And if you've seen, we'll put pictures if we can in
Like
this
the
episode or
view
something
was
like
probably like 270 degrees.
It was
just
amazing.
beyond spectacular. If you haven't been to Moab, Utah, go.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to Dead Horse Point, go.
that. Moab's one of our favorite places, and it was really
Cool.
cool. It was
Yeah.
really good. And neither, like you said, neither of us cried. I thought we were both going to cry.
my
We were
gosh.
both like,
We did have very dewy eyes. But
we didn't do big
cry.
vows. Like you said a couple things, I said a couple things. Like it was just really simple. It was really cool. It was good. And yesterday I was on a phone call talking with a guy, and I'm like, yeah, you know, my wife. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, baby.
I haven't called someone my wife because I'm married in 10 years, which is kind of a trip.
I know. That's what I kept saying. I was like, I have a husband. Oh my gosh, you have a
I know
wife,
you changed your
babe.
name on Facebook.
I did.
I guess you could say it's serious now.
I think it's pretty serious.
I added that I was in a domestic partnership, an open relationship.
It's complicated. Speaking of open
That's-
relationship, we brought a second woman into our life today.
This is a great
Miss
painting.
Liberty.
We literally have been planning this wedding and doing the wedding thing for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And so we're still in the same spot. There really is no more masculinity. But we decided to grab one of my favorite paintings from my buddy Scott, throw it in the background. And I anticipate by next week we'll have like our full set set up.
We should just keep under promising though, not because we
might.
might not.
We might.
I will say it's more masculine because there's one less plant. There's a friggin'
There's
apple
an
fritter,
apple fritter
and a box
of
of
cigars. That's good.
I mean,
I had a guy come by this
getting
morning
there.
who wants to do all of our shipping for Lions Not Sheep, and he brought, this is why good business. He paid attention, and he brought me a box of apple fritters. So we have an apple fritter here.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
yeah.
Tell them the story about the cake. You were trying to do an apple fritter cake.
I wanted to do an apple fritter cake.
We did a wedding cake.
Cake was bomb though.
It was really good.
It ended up being a vanilla cake, which was fine. But I wanted an apple fritter cake. So if any of y'all are in the wedding business, you might want to like make donut cakes. Figure that out. Because some of us fall in love over apple fritters.
We did. Our first date.
Our first
date 1.0, our first date ever was over apple fritters. Really shitty ones.
Yeah. The second date, or our first date 2.0 was over apple
After
fritters.
you dumped me.
Yeah.
And broke up with me.
So.
And then I got you to come back. The first date that I planned.
These are special to our hearts.
Was with apple fritters.
Yeah.
That's kind of indicative, actually.
It is.
The first 1.0, you
one.
brought us to some really shitty fritters, and it didn't work out so good.
Yeah.
You dumped me. But then when I brought you to the fritter game, to my fritter people,
I was like, oh.
we get married. Just saying. I'm just saying. Anyways,
It is
so guys,
indicative.
good? Anything
Yeah.
else you want to talk about
No.
with the marriage? Okay. We have some really dope questions, so here's what we're going to do. Saxony's going to ask me some questions, and I'm going to ask her some questions, and we're going to have a conversation around. But I want to preface this by saying there's some really, really, really cool questions in here that involve us individually, that our journey, where we've been.
Yeah.
Hey, we shouldn't even preface it. Let's just start freaking going in the questions. You want to do that? How do you feel
Just
about
listen
that?
to the whole podcast because you might miss
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah. Babe, you're first. Ladies first. In fact, however, at the wedding, I went first on the vows, which I said
Blame
ladies
Dustin.
first, and then you were like, no, you go first. And I'm like,
Dustin said Sean, and I was like,
put me on the
he said
spot,
it.
man.
He's the boss.
Yeah.
Your
Anyways,
vows were perfection.
we're standing at real. This is real
Yeah.
conversation. I didn't write vows. You didn't write vows.
No.
I thought about it a ton. And I'm standing there, and I'm literally with you, my best friends, my children, and literally one of the most picturesque scenes I've ever experienced. I've been to Dead Horse Point, I've been to Moab, but it was you there.
Yeah.
What do you say? Oh, I promise you I'm going to be a good guy. I vow to, baby, to bring you to the best apple fritters. I don't want to say anything.
You did, yeah.
And I think what I said was us standing here and being here says everything that I could ever say.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
I could or there's really nothing that I could say that would be more prolific than standing here right now.
Yeah.
Right?
And that is very you, though.
Yeah.
Less has always been more.
However, people tell me I need to talk less on the podcast.
No. No. There has to be one dominant person. And I'm good at laughing. Okay, moving on.
Okay, let's do this.
Getting down
Let's
to
go.
business. Okay, ready, baby?
Yeah, let's do this.
What are your insecurities?
Jesus.
This person wants you to drop your macho side and be real and raw.
Be real and raw. I have a ton of insecurities. I have a shit ton of insecurities. I'm insecure in the bedroom. I'm insecure in business. I'm insecure with my body. I have insecurities around doing a podcast. I don't ever listen to these. I hate listening to my own podcasts, watching my own videos, rereading my own posts. I have a ton of insecurities around them. I'm very hypercritical of myself. I have insecurities with sex. We've talked about this. Am I as good as what she's had? Am I better? Is my dick bigger? Speaking of dicks, this is just going to turn. We'll call this the penis episode. This is the penis episode because all we're going to end up talking about is penises.
We'll just call it maxing out.
Hashtag Ed Milet. We love you, Ed Milet. Hashtag max out. We got a whole new conversation for you, Ed Milet, around maxing out, and it involves penises. Okay. Bryce, we're going to need to clip that and put that in here. Send this to Ed. He's going to love it. I have a lot of insecurities. I mean, started with that. I said sex first. I mean, it's very real. I have a lot of insecurities, and I think I should say that I'm getting better at those as we communicate more and as I trust more. Yeah. But there's insecurities around that. Am I as good? Am I this? Am I that? Is this as good? Is that as good? What has she had? What has she not had? How do I measure up? And no pun intended, in every single facet, right? Sure. I have insecurities around my body. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, and I'm still You know, like, dude, my arms are this, or my abs aren't as
Your arms are hot
big
as fuck.
as they were before. And I have a lot of insecurities around a lot of things. And I think looking at those, they're insecurities, but at the same time, it's what pushes me to want to do more, like to be better, to communicate more. I mean, especially with our relationship, right? Insecurities, like, am I the guy that when you say things to me, do you really mean them? Like, I have insecurities around trust and believing what you say to me and trusting those things. I have a ton of insecurities, man.
Well, and I love that you share them, because I think it's, you know, when anybody shares their insecurities or they're vulnerable, like, that creates a better culture.
I think a lot of people think I have no insecurities, and I'm just like bulletproof. And
I think any high performer has a
whatever.
lot of insecurities, and that's what
I
pushes them
believe
for
that.
greatness.
I
For
truly
sure.
believe that. Some of the most insecure people that I've ever met are extraordinarily powerful people. Steve Jobs, one of them. I mean, Steve Jobs' biography, if you guys have not read it, it's a brilliant biography. He is wildly insecure, yet he literally changed the world. Literally changed the world.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Are we going every other?
Yeah, I'll do one now.
Okay.
When did you know Sean was your king?
My goodness. I knew long before I knew. My heart knew before my brain knew, if that makes any sense, and it probably makes no sense. It was the day I wrote you that letter. I wrote Sean a letter. I drove home after a date last spring. Wrote him a letter and just spilled my guts. But then I still wasn't fully in. So probably a month after that, I was driving home from a trip. And I had been out with someone else. And I literally was sitting there.
This is going to get juicy.
I was literally sitting there with myself, and I was thinking, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I love Sean, and this is not what I should be doing. And I think it was like a couple days later, I came to you and I was like, I'm all in. I don't care what you're doing. I love you. Like, I have to do this. And that was it. Like, a lot of it came with, like, literally my trust in the divine order of life. And I was just in. I would say it's very complicated. There is not just a straight answer, because your heart and your mind.
But you've said multiple times that trip that you were on,
Yeah.
when you were driving home,
Yeah.
you knew.
I understand.
Which is interesting. It's a paradox. You're with another guy,
Yeah.
knowing that you...
Right. Well, and honestly, like, I will say, like, God was like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? And it was the resistance and the pull and it was truly that I was so incredibly uncomfortable that I knew what I was doing was not in alignment with how I truly felt and what I truly knew. And I just made a good decision.
Good answer.
Yeah. Thanks, baby. Thanks, baby. You ready? Okay. I love this. What's one thing you've wanted to do but haven't yet?
Run for president. I have a lot of things I want to do. I want to run for president. Like, I want to run for president. Period.
Okay.
End
Well,
story.
I think the world needs you a little bit more even now.
You down?
I'm down.
Okay. What is your biggest goal right now? Something you feel is a stretch, but you are set as fuck on it.
This podcast.
This podcast?
This fucking podcast. This is so incredibly uncomfortable for me and so incredibly exciting and so incredibly in alignment with what I know I want and like need to do, and I love it. This is like my number one thing right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Dig it. Your turn.
Okay. I need to turn off my lock screen. What is the number one thing? Oh, this is a question for me. Oh, no, that's not. I'm sorry. I read it backwards. What is the number one thing that Sean loves and dislikes about you all at the same time?
Oh.
There's so many.
We joked about this the other night. What's the one thing that I love, but it also drives me fucking nuts, is you touching me. What's interesting is one of my love languages is physical touch, and I love the physical touch. But you're always fucking touching me, which I'm not complaining about. I never have and I never will. But there's certain times that I'm trying to do something when I'm like, stop fucking touching me. I get out of the shower and I'm trying to put deodorant on, where you just want to come over and snuggle, and I'm like in the middle of cutting my beard or doing my hair, and you're like, I just want to snuggle. I'm like, dude, get the fuck off. I'm trying to trim my beard. Like, I have shit to do. I'm carrying a plate of something, and you're like trying to grab me and hold me, and I'm like, dude, get the fuck off me for a second.
Have you guys seen Garfield in normal? I feel like I'm just normal and you're Garfield. Like, I know I'm annoying. I know it annoys you, and it's just so endearing. I just can't.
I will never complain about it.
I just like almost love to bug you.
I will never complain about it, and it doesn't bug me. But there's certain times, like when I'm.
What about if I just start bumping, grinding you? Like.
You do that too, and it doesn't bug me. But it's like, if we're in church, you can't do that,
go to
babe.
Church.
I know. In front of the kids, oh whatever.
They know us.
Yeah, that's something that I absolutely love about you, but it drives me nuts sometimes. Okay, here's one for you.
Okay.
How did you go from struggling single mom to where you are today? You inspire me. This is from Miss Jennifer Lynn.
Jennifer, girl, I hustled. And by hustle, meaning like I didn't take no for an answer with myself. I made really, really, really brave choices. Like a lot of people, I had a lot of naysayers in my life along the way, and I just followed my gut, and I just believed in myself even when it didn't make sense, because I figured like I'd rather go for big and fail than not do it. And I just didn't want to suck at life, and I worked my ass off. Like I made a lot of my money flipping houses, and I laid that tile, and I knocked down walls, and of course I had people that helped me, but like I was in there every day, and I put a lot on the line because that's what I wanted my life to be about. What won't you forgive me for?
What won't I forgive you for? Well, nothing that you've done yet, but cheating. If you cheated on me, I wouldn't forgive you. Wouldn't do it.
I support you in that decision.
Yep. Cheating. Wouldn't do it.
Nope. That feeds a whole bunch of things: integrity and character, honesty, and da-da-da-da.
Well, let's talk about that for 2 seconds, because we've talked about this, and this is a huge elephant in the room for many, many, many people, right? Because a lot of people have been cheated on, or a lot of people have cheated, or a lot of people worry about cheating. Like, we're very open about things. And what I mean by things is our desires emotionally, psychologically, sexually. And, I truly feel like the weight of lying, the weight of cheating is far greater than if you just communicate with your person. Now, people go, well, what do I say? Hey, I'm going to go fuck the neighbor today. You know what I mean? Maybe that's exactly what you do. Maybe that's exactly what you fucking do. I don't know. I don't know your specific situation, but I truly believe like when you can have a next level relationship, which I believe we do, and you can communicate about hard things, that's an elephant in the room for everybody, right? Like it's a thought and a feeling that triggers a lot of negative emotions, whether you've been cheated on or not, right? Like we've both been cheated on and we both think it fucking sucks. But what's interesting is you and I have communicated greatly about this, and I don't know that I would ever find myself in a situation where I chose lying to you and doing that over communicating with you.
Because why?
And I feel like if we did that and had that communication, I'm not saying you'd be like, okay, go fuck the neighbor or go do this or go do that. But the reality of that conversation, the reality of knowing that present mindset or where you are is to me, it's the most liberating thing ever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For you to be able to be like, hey, I'm here. I'm having these pulls or these desires or these thoughts or these feelings or whatever. Me knowing that, right? Maybe I've been an asshole. Maybe I've been a total freaking dick for 6 months and whatever it is, right? And it's not justification for you going and whatever, but it's truth and reality of where you are and where I am. Maybe you're the person who's like using sex as a weapon, right? Not you, but you hear this all the time. I hear this all the time. And now all of a sudden a dude's like, well, fuck you then. I'm going to go over here. That's very real. It's not excusable. It's not, doesn't make it right or wrong or good or bad or whatever. It's just truth.
Yeah.
It's what it is. And I feel like the more you can communicate and connect, like the cheating thing isn't really necessary.
Right. Well, it's why do people cheat? And that's the problem.
Right. Communication.
Yeah. Communication.
Yeah. Totally agree. But yeah, I wouldn't. If you just flat out went out and cheated on me, I wouldn't forgive you for it.
Yeah.
And maybe I
Likewise.
would. I just wouldn't want to be with you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good one. This is a really good one. Okay. Because it's very, very. Oh, it's just a good one. After having 2 kids, 6 and 2, my wife has lost her sexy confidence. Best way to reaffirm she's my sexy wife. This is deep. You better hit this one out of the park, girl.
Okay.
I know you know this.
Dude, if you truly, like, obviously you are vibing that she's your sexy wife and she's struggling, just show the fuck up. Like, buy her stuff, flirt with her, buy her lingerie, just, like, slap her ass, grab her, make out with her, give her praise, get a fucking babysitter and have some rowdy sex. Like, you know, she probably just needs that reassurance that, like, you're still seeing her the way you saw her before she had kids, because your body changes and women have an adjustment to that. Like, but if she, honestly, if energetically, if she feels that he's in there with her and he's all over her, oh, she'll come around. Mm-hmm. She's good. Then she has no reason to feel like she's not sexy. So just go and ravage your woman.
Go and ravage your woman.
In all the ways.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Okay, baby. Thoughts on OnlyFans. I didn't even know what OnlyFans was. Apparently it's a new underwear website.
Here's me in my underwear. Pay me money.
Okay.
Should just go to fucking Instagram for that shit. But
Right,
whatever.
that was my thought. Is I'm like, there's a lot of naked chicks on Instagram that want your free praise. Okay,
Right.
Back to the question. Thoughts on OnlyFans or porn now that you're married?
I've never been a fan of porn, married or not married, period. And the reason is a couple of reasons. Number one, I never really vibed with it. I never got into it. I remember when I was a kid looking at my first Playboy magazine, and it was like, okay, like I got it. And it's intriguing, right? And female anatomy and body's intriguing. But my mind is so creative. And I'm like, I'm really not that stimulated by watching 2 strangers fuck. Like when I can create something in my mind that's far more wild and far more crazy than what they're going to show me on TV. I don't really know anything about OnlyFans. All I know is it's chicks that you can pay they send you pictures of their underwear or in their underwear or naked. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. All I know is that you pay someone for access to content that I'm fairly certain I've seen shit that would be just as real on Instagram as you would get on an OnlyFans account. But whatever. Hey, I'm not knocking it in any way. If that's what you want to do and you want to sell pictures of you in your underwear and some dude's willing to pay you for it, God bless America. Right? That's your game. But I think porn is anything. You can be addicted to anything. Mm-hmm. People are addicted to sugar. People are addicted to soda. People are addicted to porn. People are addicted to work. People are addicted to sex. People are addicted to really everything. Mm-hmm. Cigarettes, fucking. You can become addicted to really anything. Yeah. And I truly believe that a lot of people use porn as like, well, there's this addiction and it's this and it's this. I do believe without question that an addiction to anything is bad. Mm-hmm. An addiction to anything is bad, whether it be porn, whether it be fucking soda. When you literally can't like function because you haven't had 40 ounces of Coke, you have a big fucking problem. Like that's emotional addiction. That's physical. I bet you too. You're not in shape. Your body doesn't function right. Your sex drive is completely fucked. Mm-hmm. Your mind is fucked just by being addicted to soda. Yeah. Right now, you up the ante to porn, and I believe like I can see why men get addicted to it. I can see why people get addicted to it. Do I agree with it? No. Does it mean that I think somebody's a piece of shit? No. But what I will say is the same mental, emotional, and psychological fuckery that you experience by being addicted to soda, you'll have the same mental, emotional, psychological fuckery by being addicted to porn. You're not going to have a normal functioning relationship with a woman.
Porn is not good sex.
No, you're not going to have a functioning relationship with a woman if you're addicted to watching other people fuck. Yeah. Your mind is not going to work right. Your body's not going to work right.
Very desensitized.
You're completely desensitized to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I truly believe that addiction, period, is something that people need to address, and it's call it what it is, and people will debate this with me all day long. But I believe that you can quit anything just by making the decision to do it. Period. Mm-hmm. I mean, I smoked cigarettes through high school and out of high school, like a pack and a half a day. Mm-hmm. Was I addicted? No, because I ended up going to freaking county jail for a week, and I couldn't smoke in county jail, and I got out, and I was like, I don't want to smoke anymore, and I just never smoked again, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, I don't. You're freaking. Our sex life is pretty fucking wild.
We have wild sex, and we don't turn on porn to get warmed up.
We never have. You and I have never looked at porn. We've never talked about porn. We've never watched porn. But that's what I think is really cool.
We don't even have a TV in our room, let alone a computer in our room.
Shit, we have one TV in our house, period, and it doesn't even work half the time because we never watch it. But
that's true.
You know, I believe that communication solves pretty much every single thing out there, and you know, you can build and have an incredible sex life if you just communicate.
And we flirt with each other like all day long.
Is that what you call it?
That's me flirting.
Is that flirting? Okay, got it. Now I know. Duly noted. All right, does that answer your question? That's how I feel about OnlyFans and porn. First impression of me.
Okay.
This is a juicy one.
I'm going to take y'all way back.
Okay.
Like probably 5 years ago. And I saw Mr. Whalen at a movie theater with his ex. And I was in the same movie theater with my ex. Both similar types of relationships. And I remember seeing you. And I don't know why I knew of you, because I hadn't met you.
We weren't connected on social media. I'd never met you. In fact, I didn't know this until we started dating.
Yeah. And I remember just seeing you. First, you were in the popcorn line. You were ahead of me. And I was like, God. I was so intrigued. The word is intrigued by you. And I couldn't pinpoint why. You know, I mean, you're a babe. But it wasn't like he's so hot. I just want to take him. And I was there with his girlfriend. It wasn't like that. It was just like, damn, this guy. So then I went and this guy I was dating and I were sat down, and then he and his ex walked in, and I remember him looking back over at us, and you just seemed like not very lit up. You just seemed very like, and I was just absolutely captivated by you in a you were intriguing to me. And so, you know, then fast forward a couple of years, we connected on Instagram and started talking. And the whole time, from the very beginning till now, I've just been you're such a unique, powerful, beautiful human and soul. You still intrigue me. You're still captivating. And I love that. I have this natural, like, draw to you. And it's like nothing you do specifically. It's just you being you. That's my first impression of you.
So your first impression, you didn't want to go buy me popcorn or
no, you were.
My popcorn
You were with your girl, and I was not gonna like. I just don't think that would have been a good combo. You know, we were both there with other people, and we were in these relationships that we're not in anymore. And
here we are.
And here we are.
Good answer.
Sean.
I dig it. Yes.
Sean. How can I make my boyfriend open up more and be more vulnerable?
How can you make your boyfriend be more vulnerable? You be more vulnerable. Imagine me like telling you, hey, I want you to be more vulnerable. Like, while I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or, hey, I want you to spill your guts, tell me everything, do this, do that, and I'll just sit over here. Like, if you want something, be something. If you want something from someone, be that exact same thing. Like, if you want open communication about sex, have open communication about sex. If you want somebody to share their heart and soul with you, share your heart and soul with somebody. There's this idea that somehow, well, I'm going to wait and you'll go first. No. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
If you want someone to open up to you, open up to them. Like, we joke about our first real date. Like, take you out on the Harley. This was our second date. Our first date was over fritters, and it sucked. Well, the date was, let me phrase, I'm sorry, I'm getting back. The date was great. The conversation was amazing. The fritter sucked. But our first...
It's really just because I bought the coffee.
Our first real date was when I came and I picked you up on the Harley. And
so
we went for a ride. And you always joke with people about this, but we went for a ride. And we drove like damn near out to like Wyoming and got off on the side road and stopped at this little shitty gas station, little teeny gas station. And I was still doing 75 hard, so I wasn't drinking. But you got like a
So I was being the fat kid.
You were the fat kid, even though I was eating some of the candy. We got candy, like a bag of nuts, and then you got like a 32-ounce Old Milwaukee's Best
something classy
beer, and I got a soda, and we literally drove down the road, and I threw a blanket down on the road, or on the grass, overlooking this huge lake, and we just talked. And you always joke with people about how I was asking you like all these crazy questions that nobody had ever really asked you, right? And that was like me wanting to know these things. I wasn't like, so what's your favorite color? Like, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? I'm like, what are you afraid of? Like, what fucking keeps you up at night? Like, where do you think God really is? What is God? Do you know what I mean? We had that conversation. To me, that was like, I want to have those conversations with people, so I'm going to be those conversations. I want you to tell me everything and open your heart up, so I'm going to tell you everything and open my heart up. So if you want someone to be vulnerable with you, you be vulnerable with them.
Yep. So true.
Period.
I concur.
Good.
Absolutely.
Here's a good one. These are all good.
They're all good. Yeah, I love it.
What prompted you to give me a second chance, and when are second chances deserved? And before the record, I gave you
You're such a goofball.
second chance. But whatever. Go ahead with your answer. Let's see what you have to say about this.
Well, I believe in Sean and I, and our entire relationship since the moment we met has been very divinely orchestrated, and I fully believe that. So, second time around, I dove in deep on some self-healing work, and I came out of it, and it was interesting because he like chimed in out of nowhere after probably 6 months, and you were just like, "You good girl?" And you were just a kind person, and I kind of was like, "Yeah, go away. You're dumb. I don't like you. You hurt my heart, but you're really hot, so maybe I'll." Okay, fine, you can talk to me. So then you messaged me again, and you were just sweet. And the thing about you is, no matter like the things that happened, I knew in my heart of hearts you're a man of integrity and good character, and you have such a sweet heart. So you were flirting, but you were just sweet. You were genuine, and over the course of a little bit of time, I could just sense that you were in a different space, and there was no reason, knowing that I cared about you and the type of man that you are and the heart that you have, like, why wouldn't I want, like, I didn't not like you when we broke up. It was just, there was things that needed to happen in order for that to happen again. And there's definitely reasons to not do it again. Giving second chances should not be necessarily the norm. It takes a whole new level of growth that has to happen with two individuals in order for it to even be worth another go round.
So talk about that for a second, because I mean, her question was, what prompted you to give me a second chance, and then when are they deserved? Yeah,
I just knew in my heart that the things were different. I knew in my heart, because when we broke it up, we actually have it's still on audio recording. We should play it because it's really funny. And then there's like a little bit of like texting back and forth, and we were both very, very, very polite, and we didn't blame, and we had a lot of emotional maturity around it. And so it wasn't like we burned any bridges. There was a level of respect when we said fuck off. So in my heart, I just knew.
You can say fuck off very politely, apparently. Because that's what you did.
And yeah, with you, I just knew. I just knew it. It's not gonna be hard. I don't know how to explain it other than I just knew. And yeah, with other people, like if nothing has changed, then nothing will change. Yep. So, and follow your gut. Your gut is a really, really, really strong and powerful guiding force.
I concur.
All right, BB. How did you possibly make it work with his ex 10 years later, and my husband's ex refuses? So how do you think
How do you make it work with the ex?
How do you think I made it work with Summer?
You showed up. You weren't trying to be mom, but you were trying. Let me rephrase that. You weren't trying to be mom. You were just being you. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things, this was our first conversations that I had talked to you about how important it was for my woman to have a relationship with my daughter, because that hadn't existed prior.
Right.
And my prior relationship, my daughter became almost a wedge in the relationship. My ex had a lot of animosity towards her for her own reasons, because I loved my daughter, and you love your daughter this much, why don't you love me this much? Or hell, you built this great relationship with your ex-wife, why don't you do that with me, kind of a thing. It was just a fuck ton of really, really, really toxic insecurity there. So having a relationship with my world, my people, was crucial. And I think it takes a very, very, very significant level of maturity to be able to walk into someone else's world and hold space and know I'm not mom, but if this was my daughter, how would I want to treat her? And if this was my daughter, how would she want me to treat her?
Yeah. And
something that I think is crucial for women, I'll speak to both men and women on this, but for women is to understand you're not mom. The second that you bring negativity and bitterness towards your dude's ex, you fuck up major. Yeah. Now, prior to that, let me preface this. If you're dating a dude who talks shit about his ex-wife, red fucking flags. That's the biggest red flag you could have. Ladies, if you're dating a dude who constantly bitches and moans and talks shit about his ex-wife, guess what you're fucking signing up for? You are signing up for the exact same bullshit. If the man's not mature enough to move past that and to build a relationship with his ex-wife, why the fuck would you want to be with him? Yeah. Point number one. And fellas, I mean, same thing for you. If you're dating a woman who's constantly talking shit about her ex, same fucking thing. This is one of the biggest red flags that you could ever have. We never really talked about that. You've never heard me speak ill of my ex-wife. I've never heard you speak ill of my ex-wife. When I have frustrations there, or I have pain there, or I get angry about something, or there's some friction between she and I, you just hold space. You realize it's not your job to be on Team Sean of going against her or being against her. I'm on Team Sean and Saxony, and this is our little deal. This is our world, and this is where we need to be. And so I think it's extremely, extremely, extremely important for women to understand that, you're coming into a world where you're not mom. Don't try and be mom. Yeah. Be you. And if this was your son or your daughter, how would you want to treat them, and how do you think they want to be treated? And something that I've always felt really strongly about it, and I told you this when we first started dating, I'll never treat your boys different than my boys, right? And it's a difficult fucking thing to do, especially as a man with time being older. Like if the little kids are being fucking shitheads, they're both getting their asses whooped. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, the other night we're sitting around. You told Relic, your youngest, to go up and go get in the shower and take a shower, and he does, bless his little heart, what he always does. He goes and dicks around, which is like my son. He putters around his room, and then he comes back down and he wants to be all lovey and snuggly, and I'm like, yo! I looked at him, I'm like, dude, your mom told you go get in the freaking shower. Go get your ass in the shower. And I wasn't angry, I wasn't mad. No. It was very much reaffirming what you had already said, but I said that to him and out of love and high five and the whole thing. I'm like, get your ass up in the shower. Yeah. I think it's extremely important to hold space in the new relationship. And if you ever find yourself talking ill, speaking guile, you're doing it fucking wrong.
And that's a direct reflection of you, girl.
Check your shit. Guys and girls, never, ever, ever speak ill about your ex to the person that you're with, and never, ever, ever allow the person that you're with to speak ill of your ex. And again, there's major red flags that if that's happening already in dating, that it's going to be even worse if you further the relationship. But I think it's so important for people to be able to rectify and build a new world and a new relationship with their ex, because that shit will carry over, man. As a guy, if I have major drama and issues with my ex, which I did, the woman that I was with, she fed right into that shit. And when I was upset, she was upset. When I had beef, she had beef. And that was so unhealthy. So fucking unhealthy.
Yeah. I just want to add too, is if you are an addition to the equation, be an addition. Don't be an energy vampire. Like, I showed up in the space with your ex, and the whole time, my only mission was to add value.
Mm-hmm.
It was to make life better than it was prior to me. And I don't say that because there's no like, oh, I'm so great. It was that if I'm going to come into these children's lives, I'm going to come into your life and come into her life, like, I wanted to bring value. And the last thing I wanted to do was take away from what was already working really well. I like your shoes, baby.
Thanks. So, what can I do as a wife while getting myself right and setting boundaries for, she says, my husband. So let's just pretend you're married. What can I do as a wife while getting myself right and setting boundaries for my husband? Take out mine. Just use A. I'm not sure if she's saying she is married or isn't married, but what can I do as a wife while getting myself right and setting boundaries for a husband?
Okay. I would say a lot of this is have grace. Have a lot of grace. So if you're just all of a sudden throwing out boundaries, and I'm just going to assume she has a husband. So if you're just all of a sudden changing stuff up and you're getting yourself right and you're literally flipping your entire existence that he's known it and you've known it on its side, well, you need to have a lot of grace with, like, he too is going to feel that. And if you can allow him to have growing pains and not punish him. We see this a lot in coaching. I actually got a call 2 days ago from a guy, and he was like, I'm in the den. I love where I'm going. I'm so inspired. He goes, but it's causing all this resistance with my wife because she's not in the den. She's not on board. And, she's feeling insecure that, like, things are changing and she doesn't understand. That's where grace comes in. Grace, Google it, research it. It's a beautiful thing. It's like allowing people to have emotions, to grow, to understand, to grieve, like in that transition of things shifting. So that way you stay on the same team, because a lot of people who are in a growth state, they become really resentful really quickly of like, get your shit together. This is what we're doing. Why aren't you keeping up? And it's like, that's where you're going to cause a big rift in your relationship. And so I would highly encourage you to just hold space, have grace, bring them in, encourage them to see, like, have a lot of communication too. Like, explain to them what you're doing and what these changes mean and how they're bringing, like, beautiful things towards a relationship. That would be my answer.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think to add to that, the boundaries thing, boundaries are boundaries. Okay, whether you're in a relationship, wanting to be in a relationship, there's something that is very, very, very powerful about having boundaries. What's difficult, I experienced this, is being in a relationship and leveling up, changing, evolving, and setting new boundaries. I was in a relationship that it got physically abusive. And I set boundaries and said, if this ever happens again, I will leave. Well, I didn't hold those boundaries. And it led to even more chaos, more strife, more pain, more frustration. Yeah. So understanding that, like, you have to be able to decide what those boundaries are prior to the relationship and in the relationship, and be very, 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 very clear about them. Extremely clear about them.
Don't move them.
And don't fucking move them, because if you set them and then don't hold to them, you're literally lying.
Yeah.
You're literally lying, and it will cause even more erosion and more contention in the relationship. But what you said about leveling up is huge. Like, you get these people that'll go to a Tony Robbins event, they get all hyper charged up, and they come home and they're like, we're changing our entire fucking reality. We're gonna rule the world. Not, and your spouse or significant other's like, yo, pump the brakes, motherfucker.
Wait, what?
There's dog shit on the floor. Like, get back, go clean this up, like whatever. And you're like, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That grace word in reality that you're talking about is so crucial. And truthfully, if you're both leveling up, if you're both growing, the thing that we've always talked about is, like, there's the rubber band between the two of you, right? And as long as you're both moving the same direction, there might be a little bit more friction or tension. But imagine just having this, like, bond between the two of us. And if I'm moving, I might be moving a little bit faster, or you might be moving a little bit faster, and there comes a little bit of tension, but as I move, it eases the tension. And when you get two people that are going opposite directions, that's when shit snaps. That's when stuff falls apart, right?
Yep.
Good answer, babe.
Thanks, Lovey.
Is it my turn?
Uh-huh.
Okay, here's one. Ready for this?
Yes.
What are your views on feminism?
I love strong ass women. I am a strong ass woman. I've been a strong fucking female single mom, all these labels for a long, long, long time. I don't believe that being a radical feminist and fighting to be masculine and be a man and I'm just going to say this.
Spit it out,
The
baby.
power of a female is not in radical, angry, violent, shaved head feminism. Women are so powerful.
Nothing against shaved heads. If you want to shave your head, that's totally fine.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like the extreme that you see on like, rah! Women are profoundly powerful. We have divine feminine energy that can shift the world. And none of that comes from yelling and screaming and demanding the things. There's a big difference too between, and I encourage you guys to look into this. I have a girlfriend who used to be a radical feminist. She told me she is no longer that. She's hung out with me long enough to be like, oh, okay, I see this now. Look at the difference between equality and equity in women's rights. It is really more about meeting the needs of a female and meeting the man of a needs. They're not equal. They're different. They're different in a lot of regards. That is my view.
I've heard you talk a lot about how in order for a woman to be powerful, you don't tear down a man. Like, tearing down my house doesn't make your house taller. Or me tearing down somebody else's house doesn't make my house taller. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Oh, girl. And and I love to work with women to find, like, even just sitting here, I'm like, I love that. Finding that power within you. Oh my gosh. That's what it's all about. I'll just leave it at that. Okay.
Good.
Why is it important for me to take your name in marriage? This is a deep question.
I don't even know if I've ever thought about that. I just assumed 4 agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz, my bad.
I have the best
I just
last
assumed
name.
you would because I have a great fucking last name. Plus, our initials are the exact same, so it's easy that way.
It is.
I don't know. I think that if you told me I'm not taking your last name, I don't know that I'd be like, well, fuck you, I'm out. Mm-hmm. I had never even thought about that, to be honest with you. I just figured it would be what you would want to do, and if you didn't want to do it, okay, cool, whatever. There's way bigger fish to fry than what my last name is, or you taking my last name. I don't know that I've really thought about that to the point where I'm like, oh, that's a deal breaker. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Should I have a more profound answer to that? Should I be like, well, let me tell you why the psychology... I just don't really know that I give a fuck.
See, and I wanted to take it because I feel like your family, you have a family name. And of course, my children have different last names, but they are also carrying on the legacy of their family, from their father's side. And I like the ownership of us in partners and in husband and wife. We're very traditional people. And I wouldn't want to have... I mean, my maiden name was my birth name, but my family is now, like, you create a legacy with your family. So that's why I didn't bat an eye.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Good question. Nobody even asked me that. I didn't even thought about that. I don't know that I even have any emotion around that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Sounds good. Okay. This is a good, really powerful one for women. Does Sax believe, as a woman, you can manifest a strong man like yourself? Does Sax believe, as a woman, that you could manifest a strong man like yourself?
For sure. If you bring into work your fucking ass off. And then I use a different word. It's not manifest, it's build. You can't just sit and rub crystals together like I love to do and burn sage and talk, pray that this will just fall into your lap. You have to become what you want to attract. It's the power of attraction. There's millions and probably or thousands of books written about it. But it's a real thing. And it's not manifest. It's you have to work your ass off to become what you want to attract. And I'm a very powerful woman. And I am married to a very powerful man. Mm-hmm. It's because I fucking worked my ass off. As did you.
I agree 1,000%. Yeah. If you want to be with someone powerful, become someone powerful.
Yep.
It's that simple.
This one, your question kind of goes along with this.
Okay, go.
What is the best way to meet a possible mate in your 30s and 40s?
Literally become the person that you envision yourself being with. Literally, like if you want a badass king, you want a man who honors his word, you want a man who is building big things, who has big drive, who loves the shit out of his kids, who honors his woman, then become that woman. Become the type of woman that man will see. Not find, but will see. And I think that's what was interesting about the conversation, the questions we've gotten a lot about, like breaking up and getting back together in this second chance. You and I were in a really weak, we were not where we needed to be together. I don't know if weak's the right word. It's probably not the right
weak.
word.
We
you and I were.
We weren't all in on our own.
We were on different paths. We were still very much in a place of not truly owning a lot of the things that we needed to own in order for us to be able to see each other. And I think this is huge for people to understand, is like, you know, going and committing yourself to a relationship or thinking somehow, when I'm there, then I will do these things. When I'm there, then I will, once I find my king, then I will rise to be this queen. Or once I find my queen, then I will rise to be this king. I had a very, very, very profound experience with this in one of my journeys. I had a journey last year where the sole purpose of the journey was to really understand relationships, to understand my role, my reality in relationships, for me to truly understand how to create the reality that I had envisioned around being with a woman. And one of the first takeaways that I had from that when I was talking with my shaman is, she's like, from the simplest thing of looking at your house, she's like, is this the type of home that a queen would want to come into? And I'm looking at it going, dude, I live in a big fucking house. I'm in a gated community. It's $1 million+ house. I got a great view. It's awesome. I got this great artwork and everything else. She's like, no. Like, imagine the woman that you want to be with. Imagine that woman. Is this the home that she would call hers? And it made me pause, and I was like, probably not. It's very much a bachelor pad. I had guns everywhere. Yeah, I got great art and cool shit and
on
whatever.
the floor, though.
Well, I have guns everywhere.
No, the art wasn't hung up.
Yeah, it wasn't hung up. It was just sitting there like this, and with all due respect, this isn't hanging up either. However, we'll keep going. And that really, really, really caused me to pause. Yeah. And if you remember, that was when I started redesigning my house. I started redecorating my house. I started getting new furniture. I cleaned a lot of my shit up. Not like I had a very cool house. I didn't have like some dirtbag shithole beer cans all over and pizza from 3 weeks ago. I have a cleaner that comes and cleans my house, and it's a very, very nice house. It wasn't a home that my queen would be in, that my queen would own. And in that experience, I realized, like, in order for me to find, attract, be with a queen, I had to completely elevate my game, how I where I live, like what my home experience was, a lot of different things. And I think I don't think I know that if you're a woman wanting to find a powerful man, you playing the babe in the woods routine, trying to find your savior, you ain't gonna find him. You're trying to find a dude who's gonna come fucking rescue you, he ain't gonna fucking want to be part of that game. And vice versa, fellas, you want to attract a powerful woman, up your fucking game. This is an interesting note on this, because I know a lot of people that are watching this are on social media, okay? One of the really interesting things that I saw, and I've had conversations with people around this and other influencers and stuff like that, is if you look at the type of person you're connected to on social media, okay? Now, this is not exclusive. This is very much a subjective reality. But if you notice a single guy, okay, who has 500 likes on a post, and every one of them is a 20-year-old yogi chick, quote unquote fitness, whatever, and he's a 45-year-old man. Just think about this for 2 seconds. What do you think a 35 or a 40-year-old woman who's ready for a relationship, the type of woman that he wants to be with, sees. Mm-hmm. Just think that through for 2 seconds. If I'm a dude looking at your social media and I see fuckboys, 200, 300 fuckboys, and I know who they are because they're running around town, dating everybody, fucking everybody, and that's who you're engaged with and communicating with and connecting with.
Right.
Where are you at? And I know this sounds really weird for people to think about, but literally from that simple perspective, like if you're looking at my shit and all you see is a bunch of young ass hot chicks, right? There's nothing wrong with a young hot chick. There's nothing wrong with any of this.
Right.
But if you're a mom,
it's an awareness to have.
Very much an awareness of saying, do I want to be part of that world? Am I looking to come into some game or am I looking to elevate and be with a king who's handling his business and treating things differently?
I love that you brought up social media too, because like there was never videos of you like having some for hire chick in a bikini like on your lap while you're like, you didn't have this I mean, we both have very sexual presences on our Instagrams, but we don't have like the level of
look at me, come to me, like I need this attention.
Who's the guy at Logan?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, like he has chicks in thongs on doing this, and it's like I wouldn't have been, bless his heart, he's a baby, but like I wouldn't have been attracted to you if like you had that vibe going. That's not what I don't want that.
And
nothing against that.
Nothing against it.
That's not what I
But to answer your
wanted.
question, the question is how if you want to attract a powerful man and vice versa, you want to attract a powerful woman, all these dudes out there that are 40, 45 years old, that are going through your divorces, that are single, that are broken up, whatever. It's a natural tendency to want to go hang out with a bunch of hot young chicks. You've been with the same woman for 20 years. You hate your life, whatever. You go sow your oats. I get it. I understand it. I'm not saying anything bad about that. But don't say, hey, I'm looking for my queen while you're playing with the poppers. Don't for 1 second be like, I'm ready to settle down and build my kingdom with a queen while you got all the jesters joking around. Ladies, you keep talking about, oh, there's no good guys, because you're fucking juggling jesters all day long. You're hanging out with dick faces that literally live in a 6-bedroom fucking house with 6 other dudes, and you're trying to find a dude who's going to support you and build a kingdom and build an empire. Let's get serious for 2 fucking seconds. You want to fucking elevate and be with somebody who is at that status, at that level, if you will, whatever you want to call it, the king, the queen, you're going to have to become that person.
For sure.
All right. Did I just ask you that, or did you ask me a question?
I asked you that.
Okay. This is just a funny one. How do you feel about transgender male to female competing in women's sports? How do you feel about dudes competing in chick sports?
It's not fair. They have higher testosterone. They have more muscle. They have lower fat. No. It's not a fair advantage. I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. No. I'm not really sorry. But no.
Dude, it's not a politically correct show, babe.
I know. That's why I just
You can
sorry.
speak your fucking
Hashtag
mind.
sorry, not sorry. No. I think it's bullshit.
I do too.
No.
Good.
Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna ask you one more.
Okay.
Because we were just talking about this. Are you ever bothered by me being so outspoken on social media?
No. The reason is, I'm absolutely not. It's a hard no. There's never a time when I'm like, Jesus, will you not? Because you are who you are, and I'm never, ever, ever going to want you to be anything that you aren't. Like, that is, you have a gift, you have a platform. I feel like you were given it very intentionally for this time in the world, because I'm gracious that you speak about the things that most people won't talk about. And I also know that you are a man of great integrity and a big heart. So no, absolutely not. And you've got fucking cojones. I think it's awesome. I'm like, damn, babe. Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
I get it. I fucking get it.
No, you make me proud. Uh-oh, I swiped it away. All right. Do you worry it won't last? Seems you've only known each other for about a year. That's not long.
Ooh, time question. Time is relative, man. What is relative? You can meet someone and have someone show you something in a month that you didn't have from somebody that you've known for years. I think time is very, very relative. Here's why I was not hesitant to ask you to marry me. Here's why I'm not hesitant to be married to you. is because I wrote down very, very, very clearly what I wanted in a woman, in a queen, in somebody that I wanted to be my partner. Not just somebody I wanted to fucking date or get to know, but who the fuck do I want to spend my life with, right? I love family. I want to be connected. I think truly everybody who's dating, you're dating for a reason, to connect with people. If you want to just be a man whore or woman whore or whatever, whore, period. This is not a, what are they, like not a gender thing. If you want to just fuck everybody, then just go fuck everybody, right? But I truly believe that most people are trying to build something with somebody or create something with somebody. I just totally lost my train of thought with the whole whore thing. What was the question again?
Do you worry it won't last?
Oh, it won't last. Okay. No, like here's why. Is I literally created that and designed what it is that I wanted, and I wrote it down. And you showed me things in dating for 2 months that I had not experienced in being with somebody for 8 years. You showed up in ways and showed me things consistently that I had never experienced, but I had always wanted. And to me, it was like I have two choices: pretend you're completely full of shit, or understand that what it is that I desired and designed was now right here in front of me. And I chose to trust that. I chose to roll with that. And in me choosing that, I saw it even more. And so for me, it was one of those things where it's like, doesn't matter if we've been together for a month or a year. If all of a sudden you like go to God and say, God, here's the 10 things that I want. And all of a sudden you get with somebody and here's the 10 things, literally check, 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 check. Well, fuck, you now have a choice. Yeah. Well, just kidding. Or now I want it to be 12 things, or I want it to be 15 things. Or maybe I'm making a rash decision. Or this, that, and the other. No, you got 10 fucking things. I got really clear on what I wanted. I got super fucking clear on what my non-negotiables were, on what my boundaries were, on exactly what I fucking wanted. And you showed me these things.
And I didn't, it's not like you told me what you wanted and I gave you lip service. Like, we just lived.
Yeah, and you showed me those things, and that's why for me, it's not a matter of time. You can literally fall in love with somebody and build something in a month. Yeah. You can fall in love with somebody and build something, and I'm not talking infatuation. I'm not talking infatuation. It's really easy to be infatuated. Lust is really, really, really simple. But when you have truly leveled yourself up, you lust, and lust is easy with two people that have not leveled up. It's really fucking easy. It's really easy to go out with somebody.
Sex hormones.
Have
really
a couple
easy.
fucking glasses of wine, you fuck, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, great, I just did that 11 other times this week, and, you know, I kind of have a pattern here, right? But when all of a sudden you level the fuck up, and you've truly, like, orchestrated yourself and built what it is that you want, and you're crystal fucking clear on that, there's a very real possibility that that's going to show up. And it showed up for me. And so it was like, yeah, we've been dating for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Like, I would sit down and ask myself, like, now what? What are you going to do? Do you want to keep running the same racket and break up with her and go find something else? Because literally every single box has been checked. Now what? And it was like, let's do this. Let's go. You know what I mean? So no, I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it not lasting for that reason. Plus, I don't know the future. I don't worry about the future. Yeah. I worry about today. I worry about building, I don't worry, but I focus on building the best today possible. And I feel like if I do that, tomorrow I'll have an even better day than today. And the day after that, and then the day after that. And so instead of it being like, well, look, we've been dating for 3 months. Like, where are we going with this? What are we doing with this? We've been dating for a year. Where are we going? What are we doing? If you've been dating somebody for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you truly want marriage and you're not there yet, you're never going to fucking get there. You're just lying to yourself. Period. End of story. Good question. Okay, so I want to ask you this one because it rolls on with what we were just talking about. Did either of you, and we'll ask you specifically, did you write down or visualize your ideal partner?
1000% yes. I went and I wrote pages of things, of just small little characteristics, or I wrote in depth the man I wanted to manifest. And what's funny is when I was moving into our house, I found the pages because I must have ripped them out of a notebook and put them in something else, because it got, so I love this saying of coincidences are God's way of remaining anonymous. And I kept finding these, like, it was just like one paper here and one paper here. And I showed Sean, I was like, look at, this is you. This is my manifestation of you. Manifestation, but like, absolutely. There is nothing wrong with a very clear, precise, written, basically,
blueprint
to God, being like, this is really what I would like. And in the meantime, I'm going to be all these things because that's what I valued. Oh, but absolutely.
Dude,
and you are literally that piece of...
Don't say there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually how you do it.
Yeah.
Like saying, well, I wrote this down. Dude, how do you build a business? Just hoping that it happens?
Right.
Manifesting it? Or do you write an exact fucking mission statement, vision statement, business plan? I want this, I want this, I want this. When you want to manufacture a product in China, you go, well, just send me a product. And like, what kind of product? You're like, I don't know, just send me one. No, I want a hat, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Your body, I want it to look like this, I want this body fat percentage. Same thing with relationship.
Sure.
Why would you not?
I totally
It's not
did.
like I've got this bad. I absolutely fucking did. 100%. I like literally wrote down to how we would engage on social media. I made a comment to you last night. Let's see if you remember. When we were laying in bed after the bath.
Well, I was really tired.
Because we just had wild, crazy sex.
Yes.
We took a bath last night. We had wild, crazy sex. And then we were laying there, and I said something to you that I really appreciated. Do you remember what I said?
No.
You don't?
I think I might have been...
No, we weren't asleep. I'll give you a hint. We were both laying there looking at things.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what I said?
Yeah. You said, I love that we can both just sit here in bed and be on our phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were sharing stuff with each other, like things that we were looking at. I was looking at airplanes and cars and ranches. You were looking at all kinds of like girly shit and furniture stuff and this and that and the other. Mm-hmm. And I said that to you because that was one of the things that I wrote down is I want to be able to have an experience where we can be together and not need to be fucking stroking each other's ego and, oh, this and this and this. And like we can literally be doing our own thing, but be together and not have there be any resentment or be present with me, like at needy shit.
And there's a time and a place for that, and there's a time and place for mindless disconnection
Correct.
to decompress.
Correct. And that was literally one of the things that I wrote down is I want to be able to like sit here with you and be able to look at my own shit and share it with you and have you do the same thing and not have any resentment or animosity around that. That might sound weird to some people, but I came from my history with social media and I was in relationships where that was always a fucking problem. Yeah. It was always a problem. And it was like, gimme, need. And it was just like, Jesus, like, let's just lay here. Like, we've been talking for fucking hours. Like, and there's nothing wrong with talking. We talk for hours all the time.
All the time.
But there's certain moments, certain times where I was like, I envisioned literally just laying here and just being able to do our own thing and not having any friction, any resentment, any bitterness. And I said that to you last night, if you remember. Yeah. I was like, dude, I'm really like glad that we can just sit here and do this and it's not a problem. And that was literally one of the things that I had written down and I desired with my queen is to be able to like have our own lives, our own desires, our own things, and be able to be in the same space of each other and not have like this anxiety and this need of like, give me something, fill my tanks, give me something. Like we can just literally both be present. And we had that last night.
We did. Cool. We did have that last night.
I completely agree that you write shit down, visualize it. I visualized it over and over and over and over and over again.
Yep. Me too. And you know what's crazy is when you get it, it's like for a long time I settled. There was always like one category I would settle in and being like, well, maybe it's just the 80-20 rule. Like 20% just like with you, I really have it all. I got it all. I got what I wanted.
Sure as shit you do.
You're the bee's knees, babe. Okay.
Okay.
After being cheated on, how did you know when to stop trying to make it work?
I don't want to hash the past. I don't like to go into it extensively, but you know, there's all these terms that you find in psychological stuff, gaslighting and this and that and the other. I had a friend after months of really, really, really toxic reality. I mean, I've been pretty open about this. Like I was literally with a woman who felt that it was okay to be physically abusive and hit me and punch me and throw shit at me. And, you know, I had one morning a conversation with a friend knowing that this woman that I was with was like, you're never going to commit. You're never going to be all in. You're never going to do this. You're never, literally while she was with other people, sleeping with other people. And my friend just looked at me and said, like, how many more signs do you need to see? Yeah. And it was that conversation that I was like, you're right. You're right. And it took, and here's the thing. I'm tremendously grateful for that experience. And you know this, like, I don't say this with any guile. Like, I have so much fucking love for the people of my past. Yeah. Relationships that I was in. I truly have so much fucking gratitude for where I was and what that experience was, because it forced me into places that I didn't want to go. It created, I'm not going to say caused, but it created significant pain that I then had to work out of. And it made me a better man. It really did. It made me a stronger man. It didn't fucking rip me to shreds. I mean, it caused me to go into some really, really, really dark places, but I had to get myself out of those places. And to me, like, some of your best victories come after when you get your ass kicked. You know what I'm saying? You're very much more appreciative of the wins when you've had the loss, and you become stronger. You know what I mean? You can talk about this physically. You get your ass kicked on the football field, you better work fucking harder in the off season. And so for me, it was literally having so much deceit and lies and pain and frustration for such an extended period of time, which I was 100% a part of. I have openly talked about, I lied because I said, these are my non-negotiables. If this ever happens again, and I would have that test and it would show up, and I fucking cowered. I was a coward. I wouldn't leave. I didn't leave. And I essentially lied. I literally lied to this human being where I was like, if this ever happens, I'm going to, and I did that over and over and over again because I had my own shit, my own insecurities, my own fears, my own addictions, if you will, quote unquote, my own everything. And it came in that one moment where, like, you know, one of my favorite quotes is, when the pain of the current reality becomes greater than the fear of change, that's when we change. When the pain of the current reality, or when the pain of the current situation becomes greater than the fear of change, that's when we change. And for so long, I was so afraid to leave her. I was so afraid to leave. And the pain became so unbearable that I didn't fear leaving anymore. I didn't fear the change anymore. And the change itself and leaving was extremely painful and extremely hard, but it was the best thing that I ever did. And it forced me to go on a 2-year journey to really figure out who the fuck I was in relationships and what I was doing wrong, you know, addictions that I had to psychological things, to patterns that were unhealthy, to literally not even truly understanding what boundaries were. I didn't even know what they really were. I didn't understand them. You know what I mean? I know the word, I know what it looks like, but I'd never had them before. You know what I mean? And so
that's going to help a lot of people. What you just said.
Yeah. Well, and it's real. It's real. Like, I'm the first person to acknowledge who I am and where I've been and things that I've experienced. And people have mocked me, like, dude, what are you talking about physical abuse? Because you see, you look at me and you see a beautiful woman, and you're like, who's hitting who here? You know what I mean? And they don't understand that, and no one really believes that was my reality for literally a year of my life. And I share that because it's real. I share that because there's a lot of men. There's literally a lot of men that are on the receiving end of physical abuse, of domestic violence. There are a lot of men who are on that receiving end, and it's a really interesting thing in our culture right now where you don't believe, you know, you know, I don't want to turn this into a political conversation. I want to keep to the answer, but I want people to truly understand that, like, I was in a really dark place, and I woke up literally in so much fucking pain, and that finally clicked in my brain. Like, I knew that the journey would be lonely. I knew that the journey would be hard, but I didn't fear it anymore because I couldn't be in the pain. It was like, literally, Sean, what are you going to do? Like, you want to keep living in this fucking hell and this pain, or do you want to fucking change this? And I had been so afraid of the change for so long, and banged my head against the wall over and over and over again, trying to change something when really it was me that had to create this change. And it was like when that rubber band snapped, I just shot in a completely different fucking direction. But I empathize with people that are there, especially dealing with domestic violence or cheating or infidelity or addictions or whatever. Because I'm the eternal optimist.
Right.
I don't want anybody to be in pain, right? I don't want anybody to fucking drown. I want to do anything and everything that I can to help everybody that I can, including people that I love. And my mentality was like, literally, the ship is sinking, and here's my lifeboat, if you will. And I was like willing to go down with the ship versus save myself. And when I realized that if I go down, then what's the point?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, does that answer?
I love that, babe.
Yeah?
That's good.
Okay, good. Good. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Heavy one. Okay. Let's lighten it up a little bit.
Heavy hearts.
It's real shit, though, guys. I mean, this is what we
true.
promised in this podcast, and that's a real answer. And again, I have tremendous, tremendous, tremendous love for people that have been in my life. I really do. And it took me a long time to create that love, to truly have that, not just say it because it sounds good, but to truly have empathy and love and grace, one of your big words, and compassion for someone that caused and was involved. I shouldn't even say caused, but was involved in so much pain.
And on a spiritual level, those type of people are our karmic soulmates, and they are brought into our life to cause havoc.
You've talked about this.
Which we are forced to grow, as it is so painful. I've had them, you've had them, and I am grateful every day, just like you are, that they came into our lives, because you don't know. It gives you polarity.
And polarity is one of my favorite words.
Yep.
You can't really appreciate the light until you've been in the dark.
1000%.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a big one. You're going to help a lot of people with this.
Okay. Oh gosh.
How to keep your eyes on the prize. This is from a gal,
Okay.
Jess Nicole. How to keep your eyes on the prize, on finding the right man and shifting through the shit ones.
My first thought is, I hope you're referring to the prize as you. You are the prize. And because in that, having your eye on the prize is if you're constantly focused on your leveling up, your self-love, you getting right, you getting grounded, you being just slaying life, then you're going to be able to, you're probably not even going to go to the shit level. And I don't truly see, that kind of bounces off what we just said. There are no shit people.
Bingo.
Every
Bingo.
person I've ever dated, I appreciate. Polarity, there's a lesson, there's something that I saw that in people, and I know this is not something you love hearing, but I truly believe we are each other's mirrors. I see a lot of myself in other people. If they do something that annoys me, it's probably something that annoys me about myself, and that's why I have this awareness to it. So be grateful for this shit, because that's just, you're getting one step closer to getting to your truest self and knowing exactly what you want, what you don't want. So be grateful for it all. And if you're walking around and you're doing you right and you're full of self-love and you're full of gratitude, you will see, there is no sifting. You will, the person will show up and you're like, hey, because it's an energetic level.
100%.
So I'll keep that one short, but yeah.
Very, very, very well said, babe.
Shame. Okay.
I think let's do excuse me. Let's do two more.
Okay.
Okay?
This
Two
is a
more.
good one. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Go. We're going to talk about sex.
Oh, baby. Sex. Yes. Okay. Let's go back to the penis conversation. I love it. But
okay,
first.
Sean,
we're going to hang on, we have to talk about our sponsors here. We don't really have any sponsors, but the apple fritter company who made these apple fritters, we'd like to thank you for providing these apple fritters, which we bought. Anyways, go.
Are you okay? I already know this answer, but this would be great. Are you okay with me initiating sex? Some men I've been with don't like that. I love that she just knows that I initiate sex.
That's impossible. That's impossible. Who's over there? Casey, have you ever had Have you ever had resentment of a woman initiating sex?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey's probably a virgin. Are you a virgin?
No. I mean, look at me, bro.
Look at look at me. Here, come here. Let's look at you really quick. Of course he's not. No, we're getting you on the show. Come here. Come here. This is Casey. You already are red. This is Casey, our video guy. Of course he's not a virgin. Look at him.
You can.
I didn't say you could
filter it
stay.
out.
Just show everybody your hair. He cut his own hair. Of course he's not a virgin. Have you ever been like, baby, don't try and fuck me right now? Have you ever been resentful of a woman initiating sex?
No.
No, exactly. There's really no even hesitation on that. Listen, we have, baby, got a thing.
I'm eating a donut.
We have an amazing fucking sex life. And I have never and would never have any reservation with you initiating sex. I mean, we've talked about this many times. Like, if I'm sitting in a meeting and, you know, I got things or my kids are sitting there and you're trying to fucking jump my bones on the counter in the kitchen while my kids are playing games or whatever, let's have a conversation around this, right? But we have a very, very, very active sex life. I mean, we have sex every single day.
Every day.
And I would never in a million years say that I have resentment or would have resentment towards that. And I don't know that there's any man on the planet that really does. Like it's every guy's, let me rephrase this. I truly believe that it's every guy's like desire that his woman wants to fuck him all the time, wants to have sex with him all the time. The vision of like being here, being there, and she wants to fuck you and wants to do it here and do it there and initiate sex. Like, you know what I'm saying? 99.999% of the conversations I hear, it's the exact opposite. My wife, she's tired. She won't initiate sex, and she does and da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
How often do you think that percentage-wise, I initiate sex?
Fucking every day. Literally, I mean, how do we... Okay, let's put it all out there. How do we start literally pretty much every single day?
I hope my kids are watching.
Our kids aren't watching. Kids earmuffs.
I bet you 5 days.
5 days a week. 5 days a week.
We wake up with me going down on you, which leads us.
Say
down
it, babe. Like mom's watching, the whole world's watching. So everybody
I
can hear.
really love waking up with morning sex, and I really love to start the party with sucking Sean's dick. It's
There
just
it
the
is.
way it goes.
It's out there. Like now it's public. It's public knowledge. Like 5 days a week, like you
I
initiate
bet it's
sex
5
in the
days a
morning. You wake up and you just start kissing on me, and here we are, and we're having sex.
Which there's a reason. Like you and I love morning sex because it's like energetically we're connected. We are. I mean, hello. You start the day with sex, you're gonna be in a good mood, and we like that. That's part of our deal. Like nighttime sex is sometimes like you're fucking exhausted. The day is heavy. You literally want to go to sleep. So that's just how we roll.
And here's one of the things that I like about it is I'm sometimes a morning person. More than not, I'm a morning person. I like to get up early-ish. And since you and I have been together, it's different because we have sex every single morning. We like to snuggle. We like to cuddle. We like to talk. It's just what it is.
That's what it is.
And initially I was like, oh shit, I got to go. I got to go to the gym. I got to get my shit done. I got to go. I was like, no. Wait a second. Like, this is something that like I really bond with you on. You wake up, you're going down on me. I'm like, I'm not complaining about this at all.
Stop.
Zero fucking complaints. I'm not like, babe, I got to go to the gym. Will you please not put your mouth on my friggin' penis? Like, come on. You know what I mean? I'm kind of going, well, I like this. If this becomes a new norm, then I've got two options. Babe, this doesn't work for me. I don't like the fact that you want to fuck me every single morning. I have to schedule it. I was like, no, you know what? I like this. I like how I start my day this way. I like that it connects us. I like that you like it. Why would I fucking tell you no to that? Why would I be like, no, dude, whatever? Like, that's dumb. So I chose to start looking at my schedule differently. Period. Like, I just started moving things around. So I was like, okay, I'll spend more time in the morning with you and then change things around over here, right? And I've started, like, testing working out later in the day, like in the afternoon or whatever.
Which that's also kind of become a bonding thing. We go to dinner and we go to the gym at night. And that's kind of part of our deal, too.
Right. And so, a couple of things. Back to the question. like, what was the original question about initiating it?
Do you have? How do you
Oh
feel
no,
about me
I would
initiating
never,
sex?
ever, never. And I truly believe that most men want more sex than less sex. And ladies, like, I promise you, like, you go down on your man in the morning, I guarantee you, he's not going to complain.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe that's a test that you do. Why don't you fucking try this out for 30 days and see how your whole life changes?
Yeah.
Not just your sex life or this, that, or the other. Let's talk about your money. Let's talk about how much money you're making. I'm making more money than I've ever made before right now. Okay. Let's talk about energetically. I've got a lot of energy. My body's in great shape. Like my relationship with my family, my kids, my world is really, really good. And I start my day basically with sex, 5 days a week, kind of a deal. I don't have any reservations ever about that. And I don't know that I know a man. Is Adam in here?
No, he left.
Well, he left. I don't know really. We should just literally get on the phone right now and call through people and be like, "Yo, do you have a problem with your wife giving you a blowjob in the morning?" Nope. Okay, thanks. Next. I guarantee you, 9 out of my 10 friends are 150% on board with their woman initiating sex any place, anytime, and they would have zero freaking reservations around it.
And I want to speak on this with women.
Speak on it, baby.
There-
Preach on it, girl. Preach on it. Give it to us.
You want to feel empowered. You want to feel powerful. You want to feel sexy. Like, show up. Like, I love giving you all of that attention. I love that connection. I love the fact that I don't ask you permission. I just go ravage you.
You go after it.
But it's also like, I'm a physical touch. Like, I love to love you. Like, I want you to have that. I want that connection with you. It empowers me to show up in that space. And so I encourage women, like, do it.
Mm-hmm. Some mornings are more long and drawn out. Some mornings it's just, let's just fucking get it on. And we have a quickie and then we're off to the races. But, I mean, literally 5 days a week we start our day with sex, which is great.
Yep.
No complaints here. Great job, babe. By the way, don't stop. That is part of our. We didn't sign a prenup, but you signed a virtual prenup that you will continue to do that indefinitely. It's all on camera right now. You just sign it. You just sign it. Deal. See that? That's got to be contractually. I'll send that to the lawyers. Okay. One more question because we got to go. We got shit to do. This is a good one. What's the best way to get a girl to let go of her past? I think this is very applicable in a lot of scenarios. Dating, marriage. What's the best way to get a girl?
This is what worked for us, is show them a new reality. That is literally what got us right here in this moment. Is we just kept showing each other new reality. We didn't try to fix them. I didn't try to fix you. I didn't try to not have you go through your growing pains or like try to like ease things. It's just, I just kept showing up and you kept showing up.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's how do you get a guy to let go of his past, show him a new reality? How do you get a girl to let go of her past? I mean, you can't make someone let go, but the truth is if we're constantly living in a new reality,
it's like a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Eventually, the old becomes in the past, and the new becomes then the new past, and it just keeps going. Yeah.
And the more you go down that path, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are fresh out of a breakup or a divorce or something like that, the pain is real. And we talked about this when we first started dating last year. I was very candid, very open with some of the things that I'd been through. You were as well. And it's still real. It's still raw. And the truth is, the longer you create a new reality, not distance yourself from that, but the more you create a new reality, the less you remember, think about, or are connected to that past. Like, that's something that I love about our relationship is, like, we're constantly living in now. We don't spend a lot of time talking about the past. We don't spend hardly any time talking about the past. If it shows up, we address it, we talk about it, and we keep moving. But like when you're constantly moving forward and having new conversations and building new shit, you just are distancing yourself from that. but you're also rewiring and reprogramming your brain for a completely new reality.
Totally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Any other good
This
ones?
is the big one. This
All right,
is the
this
grand
last
finale.
one. This is the last one. Grand finale.
Grand finale.
Give it to me.
Why do some men go to extreme lengths to protect their secret sexual behavior?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because they are too afraid to acknowledge what they really want. Because we could spend hours on this one question. Culture, society, religion, God, parents, the entire thing. Sex is this taboo thing, right? It's not commonly talked about. It's weird when you talk, fellas, you just talk about being a man and fucking and da-da-da, and then girls are like, hi, you know what I mean? There's like all of these notions around this thing, and me talking about wanting to do certain things with you, experience certain things, it's like, oh, she's gonna think I'm a fucking weirdo. She's gonna think I'm a sex addict.
What if
She's gonna
she's
think
a
this.
weirdo?
So I'll give you a perfect example of this. I'll give you a perfect example. And these are dear friends of mine. He came through the Lions Not Sheep experience. Now, he was married, had kids, and cheated on his wife, knocked up his girlfriend, and was like in the crux of just hell. His life was hell. He comes to the Lions Not Sheep experience, and he's literally burning his entire fucking world to the ground. Now, God bless her, his wife was willing to stay with him and wanted to work it out, didn't want to burn it to the ground. He didn't know. He had all of these reservations and all this stuff. Now he's got this fucking girlfriend that was his side chick who's going to have his baby and the whole thing. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. Like, it was a really pivotal moment for me, not only as a coach, but as a man and my level of communication, is he has this conversation with me and through the experience. And he's like, look, dude, I have all of these, like, we grew up in a religious community here in Utah, and we didn't talk about sex, and we were, we weren't sexually active when we get met. Like, this is the only person I've ever been with. I have all of these thoughts in my mind and desires and fantasies and all this other shit. Like, I can't tell her that, or else she's going to think I'm fucking weird. She's going to think I'm a pervert. She's going to think I'm a sex addict. She's going to think all of this other stuff. So I literally have I have not had a good sex life with her, and we haven't had this fulfilling reality because I'm afraid to talk about it. And I understand that because the judgment in a religious community is fucking powerful. The judgment in family is powerful. When you start talking about, hey, babe, like, oh, let's do anal or whatever. Oh, my God, we can't do that. The God says, and the Bible says, and this is bad, and this
Bible
is what
talk about anal sex?
No, I don't think so. We'll check it. But, like, the truth is in a lot of cultures and a lot of societies, like, we've been programmed in that reality. And so I challenged him. I said, I want you to do something. And I said, I want you to go home, and I want you to basically create the environment, take her out, like, to dinner, go out on a date night, and I want you to literally tell her everything that you want. And he's like, dude, you don't understand. Like, she'll think I'm a fucking pervert. She'll think I'm weird. She'll leave me. And I said, well, bro, you're burning your fucking world to the ground. So you have one of two choices. Go all in with your wife and tell her what you want to fucking do. If you want a goddamn jungle gym in your bedroom, get a jungle gym. You want to fucking bring in dancing monkeys and fucking elephants, tell her that shit. I don't know what it is.
We're not
I don't really
elephants,
care.
Just fucking
We're not.
elephants.
Maybe they're just there to watch. I don't know. But I said, I want you to go home and tell her fucking everything. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, a couple days later, he calls me and he's like super emotional. I was like, what's up? And he's like, I did exactly what you told me to do. And I said, and he's like, I'm sitting here telling her all of these things. And she looks at me and says, why haven't you told me any of this? I want the same thing too. And I'm like, you went through 2.5 years of hell, literally knocking up another girl, all simply because you weren't willing to fucking communicate. You weren't willing to say what you wanted. Like, what you do with the information is totally up to you. Yeah. Like, but when I tell you, I want to do this, I want to try this, let's do this, let's do that, how you receive that, whatever. I think that's what's really, really, really dope about our relationship, and really, I hate the word conscious relationships or fucking connected relationships. You can talk about all of this shit. You can talk about any of it, and there's no judgment around it. It's what it is. It's what I'm thinking about. It's my desires, my fantasies, whatever the hell it is, right? There are so many people that are so afraid to share with their lover what they really want. And what's really interesting, the more I experience coaching and work with couples and work with men especially, the more that they communicate with their woman about what they want in the bedroom and sex, they actually get it. And what's really interesting is that the more they do it, their woman actually wants the same thing. They don't want to be fucked the same way once a week after date night, whatever, after going to fucking the Taco Bell and whatever. Like, women want experience. They want excitement. They want, you know what I'm saying? They want these things in life. I know you know this because this is what you got. But the truth of the matter is, like, most dudes are terrified, and women are terrified because the social conditioning and the social programming, that it's a taboo thing, keep it behind closed doors. We are very sexual people, period. Like, we can talk about the fact that we have sex and you wake me up damn near every freaking day, like, going down on me. Like, okay, cool. Oh, giggle. Oh, what are you, fucking child? We're grown-ups here. We're talking about sex. Tell me a guy that doesn't want a fucking blowjob. They all do. Everybody does, right? Let's talk about real shit. Let's stop pretending and hiding and this is it ain't taboo. It's real fucking life.
Not taboo,
it's what we're all experiencing and dealing with in relationships. And I strongly, strongly, strongly encourage every man listening to this and every woman listening to this to fucking communicate with your lover, your significant other, about what the fuck you want. Experience that shit. Talk about it. Do it. Yeah. Watch what happens.
Well, and also it hurts when someone's hiding that information from me. Like, I don't even get to have a choice. Like, I don't get to have an opinion. And that alone that's hurtful. I've experienced that.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
That was a good question.
It was a great question. I love that question. These are all great questions. I feel like we should do this more often.
Yeah. At least
we should do a Q&A more often. If you guys like this, if you got value from this, please do us a favor. Go on, tell us, hell yes, do more of these. Leave a comment. Go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you're watching this or listening to this. Please leave us a comment. Be like, yo, do you like this? Yes, hell yes, do more of these Q&As. In fact, here's my question. Let's have a conversation around it. And if you got some value from this, which there's got to be some nuggets in here, share that shit. Hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the comment button, and help us get this podcast out there. Babe, anything else?
No, I think it's fantastic.
Good shit.
It was good shit indeed.
God
I like
bless
these
America.
Guys,
Guys, thank you so much. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.